Right now, if you are a Jamaican trying to get a green card, or if you're in the US waiting to bring your mother or your brother up, you probably feel like the walls are closing in. Rumors are flying on WhatsApp that Jamaica has been put on a secret blacklist. People are saying the US embassy has shut down. The panic is real. But here is the truth. The US hasn't shut down the embassy. What they've done is much more strategic, and honestly, for a lot of people, much more concerning. On January 14th, 2026, the game changed. And the official reason that this is about welfare might be only a small part of the story. We're going to break down why a lot of analysts believe this isn't just a pause. It looks like a fundamental redesign of the American dream, one that ends up hitting the Jamaican economy and the Jamaican family structure especially hard. If you want to know whether you're safe or whether you might need a plan B, you need to watch this breakdown right to the end. Let's start with the official story, so we can understand why so many people are questioning it. On January 14th, the State Department issued a directive pausing immigrant visa processing for 75 countries. Jamaica is on that list. The government says this is temporary. They say it's to reassess vetting procedures and to stop immigrants who might become a public charge, basically people who might need welfare. But let's look at what's been happening on the ground for years. Historically, Caribbean immigrants have had some of the highest labor force participation in the United States. Jamaicans in the US don't just work in many sectors, they work at higher rates than native-born Americans. They are part of the backbone of healthcare in New York and Florida. You see them in hospitals, nursing homes, transit, hotels, logistics. They dominate huge chunks of the service sector. So if Jamaicans are known for coming to work, not to sit on welfare, why lean so heavily on the public charge argument? Here's how a lot of immigration lawyers and policy analysts interpret it. Public charge is a powerful legal tool. The president can't easily announce, "We're banning these countries forever." But the executive branch can say, "We're pausing processing for administrative review and risk assessment." They're not officially banning you. Instead, they place your file in a drawer that almost nobody is allowed to open. That's why some critics call this a soft ban, not a loud wall you can see, but a quiet bureaucratic wall that can keep you stuck for years without ever saying no or yes. Stay with me, because in the next chapter we're going to look at who is actually getting stuck and who somehow manages to slide straight past this pause. Here's the part almost nobody is talking about on WhatsApp and TikTok. To understand the real impact, you can't just ask, who's on the list? You have to ask, who isn't really affected? If you are a Jamaican multimillionaire applying for an EB-5 investor visa, putting US $800,000 into a US-approved project, your case is in a very different category. If you're a tech star or specialist on an O-1 Extraordinary Ability Visa, or recruited under certain high-skill work programs, you still have clear pathways. So who is stuck? The nurse's husband, the construction worker's brother, the grandmother who has been waiting 7 years to join her only child. For about 50 years, U.S. immigration was heavily built on family reunification. You go first, you work hard, and eventually you file for your spouse, your kids, maybe your parents. But the U.S. has been talking for years about moving toward more merit-based immigration, prioritizing skills, education, and investment. A lot of analysts see this visa pause as a way of quietly accelerating that shift. The argument goes like this: the real driver isn't just welfare. It's a pivot away from large-scale family chain migration and toward a system that quietly favors money and specialized skills without having to pass a big, controversial law in Congress. If you don't bring capital, a rare skill set, or elite credentials, the system might not say no, but it is clearly saying you're on hold. And when you add money into this picture, that's where things get even more uncomfortable. Let's go there. Now, let's talk about the part everybody feels, but very few people fully connect. In geopolitics, if you really want to understand a decision, you follow the money, not just the speeches. Late last year, Congress passed what supporters nicknamed the Big Beautiful Bill, officially the Fiscal Responsibility and Border Security Act. As of January 1, 2026, the U.S. started charging a 1% federal excise tax on certain remittance transfers sent abroad through money transfer services. Now watch this timeline. January 1st, they start taxing the money leaving the country through remittances. January 14th, they announce a pause on immigrant visas for 75 countries. Many of the same countries that receive huge amounts of remittances from the U.S. To the average Jamaican, sending money home is love. It's taking care of mommy. It's building a little house in Mandeville. It's buying cement in Clarendon and helping a cousin through UWI. But to a hardline economic nationalist looking at spreadsheets in Washington, that US $3.4 billion is capital outflow. That's US $3.4 billion a year that is money not buying cars in Florida, money not being invested in American businesses, and money not growing inside American banks. Critics argue that when you put the 1% remittance tax and the 75-country visa pause side by side, it starts to look less like random timing and more like a strategy. From that perspective, the message sounds like, we'll gladly use your labor, but we would rather your earnings stay in the U.S. economy instead of flowing out to support another country's GDP. Some analysts even describe this as a kind of economic containment. And when you remember that remittances are around 17% of Jamaica's GDP, it doesn't feel like a small policy tweak. It feels like pressure on a major artery of the Jamaican economy. But this isn't happening in a vacuum. Real families are caught in the middle of this right now. Let's talk about what this actually feels like on the ground. So where does that leave Jamaica? Because this isn't just about visas. It's about our plan B as a country. So what happens next? If the U.S. door stays half closed for certain types of immigrants, Jamaica is going to feel it in three big ways. 1. The brain drain redirect. Jamaican nurses, teachers, engineers, doctors, IT workers who once focused on America will increasingly look at Canada, the United Kingdom, parts of Europe, the Middle East, and beyond. The talent will still leave. The question is, where will it go? And will those new destinations send the same level of remittances back to Jamaica? 2. The remittance crunch. As older Jamaicans abroad retire, earn less or pass away, and fewer new migrants replace them because of this pause, that remittance stream is likely to shrink over time. That means less foreign exchange coming in, more pressure on the Jamaican dollar, and higher prices for imports. And the harshest impact on families who depend on a little something from overseas. The Jamaican economy can't wait until it's a crisis to react. It needs to plan for that possibility now. 3. Diplomatic leverage. When 15–20% of your GDP comes from income earned in another country, that country gains leverage whether anyone admits it publicly or not. Even if the U.S. never says, we're doing this to pressure Jamaica, immigration policy can easily become a silent bargaining chip in talks about trade agreements, security cooperation, and regional politics. Some observers already worry that visa issues could be used, subtly, as part of wider negotiations. This video isn't here to terrify you, it's here to prepare you. The era of easy migration based mainly on family ties is under serious pressure. The U.S. appears to be moving toward a more business-first, merit-heavy model, not always through big public laws, but through quiet policy changes like this. So what should you do? Do not withdraw your application out of panic. If you're already in the system, stay in the line. Get your finances and documents in order. If you get an interview, expect tougher questions about income, support, and ties. Watch the courts and official updates. Legal challenges to policies like this are often filed, but they take time, and results are never guaranteed. Quick disclaimer, this video is for educational purposes only. I am not an immigration attorney. This is not legal advice. Every case is different. Always check with official sources and, where possible, a licensed immigration lawyer. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think this is really about protecting the U.S. welfare system? Or is it more about keeping money inside the U.S. economy and reshaping who gets to migrate? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this breakdown helped you, hit like so. YouTube pushes this to more Jamaicans who need to hear it. Subscribe for more deep dives on policies affecting Jamaica and the Caribbean. And share this video in your family group or community chat so we can replace WhatsApp panic with actual information. Stay informed. Stay strong. The policy might be on pause, but your entire life doesn't have to be. I'll see you in the next one.